And it wasn't until I started writing poetry that that world, that awakening happened. That idea of that awakening of me onto me. And this is another moment that I can't quite make up. First graduate writing course with Campbell McGrath at Florida International University. I'm petrified. I'm an engineer. I've done Calculus 5, but hadn't written a sentence in 4 years. And we read some Ginsberg and some Frost, and he says to us, and some Whitman, of course, and he says to us, here's your first assignment, write a poem about America. Which is exactly the assignment I got 20-something years later from Obama. So when they called, I was like, I got it, don't worry. That lasted about 5 minutes. So anyway, I just wanted to share this poem with you because it really started, it really sparked. I went home, I scratched my head, I'm like, America, Whitman, Ginsberg, Frost. What does that have to do with my environment, my community? And then I had a really hard time with the assignment, and finally I wrote this poem, which I had to be honest with. I gave them my America, right? So you should know 3 things about this poem. One is that for Cubans, we never really got Thanksgiving. I think that holds true for Latinos in general. In fact, as my mother calls it, it's San Giving, as in San Ignacio, San Pedro. It's a different kind of feast day. For Cubans, you should all know that pork is not the other white meat, it's the only meat. And there's a very sort of dangerous line here about Kennedy that, well, I didn't say it, I'm just quoting someone, but I don't think the White House caught that one. So here's the poem, and it's appropriately called America. Although Tia Miriam boasted she discovered at least half a dozen uses for peanut butter, topping for guava shells and syrup, butter substitute for Cuban toast, hair conditioner, and relaxer. Mama never knew what to make of the monthly 5-pound jars handed out by the immigration department until my friend Jeff mentioned jelly. Oh, but there was always pork though. For every birthday and wedding, whole ones on Christmas and New Year's Eves, even on Thanksgiving Day, pork, fried, broiled, or crispy skin roasted, as well as cauldrons of black beans, fried plantain chips, and yuca. These items required a special visit to Antonio's Mercado on the corner of 8th Street, where men in guayaberas stood in Senate blaming Kennedy for everything. Ese hijo de puta. Instead of a bitch. The bottle of Cuban coffee and cigar residue filling the creases of their wrinkled lips, clinging to one another's lies of lost wealth, ashamed and empty as hollow trees. By 7, I had grown suspicious. We were still here. Overheard conversations about returning to Cuba had grown wistful and less frequent. I spoke English. My parents didn't. We didn't live in a 2-story house with a maid or a wood panel station wagon, nor vacation camping in Colorado. None of the girls had hair of gold. None of my brothers or cousins were named Greg, Peter, or Marcia. No, we were not the Brady Bunch, and none of the black and white characters on Donna Reed or the Dick Van Dyke Show were named Guadalupe, Lázaro, Mercedes. Petty Duke's family wasn't like us either. They didn't have pork on Thanksgiving. They ate turkey with cranberry sauce. They didn't have yuca, they had yams, like the dittos of pilgrims on colored clouds. So, a week before Thanksgiving, I explained to my abuelita about the Indians and the Mayflower, how Lincoln set the slaves free. I explained to my parents about the Purple Mountain's majesty, one if by land, two if by sea, the cherry tree, the tea party, the amber waves of grain, the masses yearning to be free, liberty and justice for all, until finally they agreed. This Thanksgiving, we would have turkey, as well as pork. Abuelita prepared the poor fowl as if committing an act of treason, faking her enthusiasm for my sake. Mama set a frozen pumpkin pie in the oven and prepared candied yams, following instructions I had to translate from the marshmallow bag. The table was arrayed with gladiolas. The plattered turkey loomed at the center on plastic silver from Woolworths. Everyone sat in green velvet chairs. We had a upholstered with clear vinyl, except for Carlos and Toti, seated in the folded chairs from the Salvation Army. I uttered a bilingual blessing, and the turkey was passed around like a game of Russian roulette. Dry, Gilberto complained, and proceeded to drown the lean slices with pork fat drippings and cranberry jelly, la mierda roja esa, as he called it. Faces fell when Mama presented her okra pie. Pumpkin, calabaza, was a home remedy for ulcers, not a dessert. Tia Maria made 3 rounds of Cuban coffee, then Abuelo and Pepe cleared the living room furniture, put on a Celia Cruz LP, and the entire family began to merengue over the linoleum of our apartment, swirling rum and sugar, until they remembered. It was 46 degrees in 1970.